So today I'm going to try and rebuild the international Greece team in NBA 2K20. As you guys can see, I have all of the Greece team players on here and most of them are terrible. So let's see if I could rebuild this team and win a championship. So for the first season, we will need to tank so that we could get a lottery pick because we have no chance to win this year. To do this, I'm going to not play Giannis as well as my other top players this season. So one thing I need to do this season is trade some of Greece's players with trade value for other players who don't have expiring contracts. As you guys can see, a lot of the good players on my team have expiring contracts. So I'm going to try to trade these players for people who have maybe 2 or 3 years on their deal. As you guys can see here, I'm trying to trade this Nick Kalathis for a decent player. I'm going to end up getting Josh Richardson, who is a decent player with 2 years left on his contract. So next, I'm going to try to trade the other 2 Greece players with a good trade value for an even better player with more than 1 year on his deal. I'm going to look to trade this shooting guard. You guys can see him. There are a few deals that were decent, but I'm going to try to add another Greece player to try and get an even better deal. Now, as you guys can see, the Bucks really want to get rid of this Brook Lopez and George Hill, so we might be able to look into that to get a cheap deal. We don't want this Reggie Jackson because he's way too expensive. The Grizzlies deal is too expensive as well. The Kings offered a really good deal, but Bogdan is a free agent at the end of the season, so we can't do that. So the Rockets are offering Robert Covington for these 2 players, so we are most likely going to take this deal because it's the best one so far. The only way I'm not going to take this deal is if another team offers a better deal. Patrick Mills and Rudy Gay are past their prime and are way too expensive. Oubre and Rubio are also a good deal, so I might have to look into that. Gallinari and Roberson are both on a 1-year deal, so we can't take that. The rest of these deals aren't looking too good, so I'm just going to go up ahead and pick up this Robert Covington. So you guys can see the team now is not too bad. We have a few good players, but we still need to tank to get one of the top picks in the draft. So at the end of the year, you guys can see in the bottom right that we have finished with a 16-66 record, which is really good for us because we will have the highest chance at the #1 pick in this year's draft. The Nets do end up beating the Mavs to win the championship this year, but we aren't worried about that. So let's go to the draft lottery. We have the highest odds, so hopefully we get the #1 pick. We ended up getting the 2nd pick in the 2020 NBA draft, which isn't too bad. So let's see what we could do with that 2nd pick. So Anthony Edwards went #1, but I didn't want him anyways because the only people I was looking to get were LaMelo Ball or James Wiseman. I ended up going with LaMelo just because in free agency there are going to be more centers that I could sign. So as you guys can see right now, the core lineup isn't too bad, but I still need to trade for a superstar in the coming season. So in free agency, I'm looking to get a few role players to help out with the team. I know I have no chance at the big players like Anthony Davis and Brandon Ingram, so I'm going to get a few players who can come off the bench and just play a role for my team. After looking at all of the big men, I decided to pick up JaVale McGee because he is good enough to start at the 5 and he has a cheap contract. He's also valuable enough to be a trade piece if I need him to be. The next player I'm going to get is Enes Kanter, who could play as my backup center on my team. I'm also going to pick up Alec Burks because he is a solid shooting guard who can run the offense off the bench. He does have quite an expensive contract, but I'm just going to take him anyways. Now, I did offer Gallinari a deal with the intent to trade him, but he didn't end up signing with me. So ending off free agency, we have a solid team, but now it is time to make a deal for a superstar that will help Giannis complete the rebuild to win a championship. So we need to add a few more bench players to the team, so I decided to go ahead and sign Darren Collison to a minimum deal. So now, if you looked at the roster, all we needed was a backup small forward and a backup power forward. So I went ahead to sign Pat Connaughton. He is a shooting guard, but he can't play the small forward and he is a good player. So my bench is looking really good right now, and all I need to do now is start to make a lot of trades. So at this time, I wanted to trade for a superstar. I couldn't trade most of my players yet because I just signed them, so I tried to trade LaMelo Ball, Covington, and Richardson. I ended up getting the deal for Chris Middleton, which I really liked, but I didn't want to trade 3 of my starters just for Chris Middleton. I ended up looking for a deal with only Richardson and Covington, and I wasn't getting anything good, so I tried to trade for Jimmy Butler, but they weren't going to do any single deal unless I gave them Giannis, which I couldn't do because Giannis was my best player, and I wanted to build this team around him. So since I couldn't get Jimmy Butler, I was attempting to go after Victor Oladipo. So they offered some really good deals for Victor Oladipo, and I was leaning towards getting him for my team. I was going to do the deal for Josh Richardson, but I wanted to try to see if I could get anything better. I went to trade for Devin Booker, and they wanted Covington, Richardson, and LaMelo Ball. I tried taking LaMelo Ball out of the deal and started adding draft picks. They didn't accept that first, but at the end, they accepted after I gave them 4 unprotected first-round draft picks. This basically gave up my future, so the only way I was going to win now was if I won this year. So I had to win this year, and as you guys can see, I did get the Devin Booker. So the only way to win and rebuild this team now is if I win this year. So the team was looking really good, but I wanted to move LaMelo Ball for a star point guard. LaMelo Ball would be a really good point guard in the future, but as I said before, I'm really trying to win this year. So LaMelo Ball has a lot of potential, and therefore I could trade him easily. And you guys can see they offered me a De'Aaron Fox. So without any hesitation, I had to take this deal because I wanted to win this year. So the team was looking really good right now. As you guys could see, my big 3 was Giannis, Devin Booker, and De'Aaron Fox. So this was a really deadly big 3. I also picked up those really good players in free agency. So let's see how we do throughout the season now. So after 16 games, we had a 14-2 record, which was one of the best records in the league. We were the #1 team in the East around this time. So I'm going to sim to the All-Star break now, and let's see how we're doing then. So at the All-Star break, we were 44-7, which was the best record in the whole league. Not even last year's champions, the Brooklyn Nets, were close to us. The Lakers weren't close to us either. So we were on top of the whole league, and let's see what happens at the end of the season. So at the end of the season, we finished with a 70-12 record. Anthony Davis won MVP, LaMelo Ball won Rookie of the Year, John Wall won 6th Man of the Year, Kawhi won Defensive Player of the Year, and Markelle Fultz won the Most Improved Player. And the best thing is, our coach won Coach of the Year. So Giannis made the All-NBA first team, and he also made a defensive team, but no one else from our team was really up there. So in the first round of the playoffs, we are matching up with the Cleveland Cavaliers, which should be a breeze. As you guys can see, we won easily in 5 games, and now we are playing the Raptors, who have a very solid team. The Raptors this year have Pascal Siakam, Kyle Lowry, Hassan Whiteside, and it looks like Boucher has gotten better. He had 20 rebounds, so let's see how we match up against them. So looking at our last game, Devin Booker had 29, Fox had 27, and Giannis had a triple-double. So our team is looking really good right now. Our role players are showing out as well. So I'm pretty confident that we're going to easily beat the Raptors, but let's see what happens. So as you guys can see, we were down 2-1 in the series, but we won the next 3 games, and we're matching up against last year's champions, the Brooklyn Nets. They have a pretty solid team with Kyrie Irving, Danilo Gallinari, Dinwiddie, LeVert, Durant, Jarrett Allen, DeAndre Jordan. So this is a pretty good team. They have a good bench as well, but I feel like we can win this game. So let's see what happens. And you guys can see we easily beat them in 5 games. And we're going to play up against the Lakers in the NBA Finals. So this is to complete the rebuild. We are in 2021 now, 1 year after we started this expansion team. So let's see what happens. You guys can see that Booker is usually leading the team in points, and Giannis is almost racking up a triple-double every time. The Lakers are not too bad themselves. They have Anthony Davis, Kuzma, they added Ibaka, LeBron James. LeBron James doesn't seem like a better player than Anthony Davis right now. So Anthony Davis is the best player on the team, and I feel confident. I feel like on paper we are the better team. So let's see if we could pull this out. So you guys can see we were down going into game 6, but we forced it to a game 7. So I'm going to actually do this on Simcast Live, and I will see you guys there. I'm not going to play though. I'm just going to watch while they sim. So you guys can see at the end of the first quarter, we were up by a lot. and it already looked like we were gonna win. We were up by so much. We were up by 14 points, and we're just gonna keep simming to see what happens. So you guys can see we really are crushing them at this point. It looks like we are gonna complete this rebuild and win. So I'm just gonna quit out now because it's kind of guaranteed that we're gonna win. I'm gonna sim to the end. Now you never know. So let's see if we did win. I'm gonna check the box score. Giannis finished with a triple-double. And we won easily. We won by 46 points. So that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would appreciate if you guys could check out my other videos, but make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I have a lot of other good tips and tricks on my channel, so make sure to check it out. But I will see you guys in the next video.